Hello, and welcome to my first narrated video. In this one-day build, I'll be making a simple tape shelf, much like the one you can see right now, which I already made for my tiny home workshop. For this project, I will be using 3/4 inch MDF, because it's quite cheap and easy to work with. The shelf won't have to support heavy loads, so it should be strong enough. I'll start by cutting the bottom and back panels to length on a table saw. With my safety gear on and the table saw set to the appropriate height, I first practice the motion before powering the tool, always a good idea. Then turn on the dust collection on the saw and start cutting. Next, I need to angle the blade to cut the front piece. This will allow the shelf to support bigger rolls of tape, but I also think that it gives it a nice flair. I'm setting the blade to approximately 30 degrees. I'm not really worried about precision here. Since I'm cutting on the longer side of the board, I'm using a rib fence to support the material on the left side, and I don't want to get my fingers anywhere close to the blade, so to push it through, I will use a stick. And remember, never reach over the blade while it's cutting. With all the main panels cut, the next step is to attach them. I'll start with wood glue, but I will add some construction screws later to add extra strength. I know that this is not the best joinery, but follow me on this. The shelf is not meant to support a lot of weight, just a few rolls of tape and maybe a roll of paper. With the glue dried, it's time to put some screws in. 1.5 inch long construction screws should be strong enough for this job. I'm making pilot holes, so it will be easier to drive the screws in. I'm putting 3 of them, 2 on the sides and 1 roughly in the center. Next, I will repeat the same steps to attach the back panel, starting with glue and reinforcing it with extra screws. I will use a square or some manganese blocks to keep the panels perpendicular while the glue dries. I am going to add panels to cover the sides of the shelf, so I will put in the sanding wheel first to make the sides flat. These panels don't have to support any weight, and they are mostly decorative, so I'm using thinner MDF for them. After tracing the shape with a marker, I will cut the sheet to a more manageable piece before moving over to the bandsaw. The bandsaw will cut through this thin MDF like butter, and it will be quite precise. I will still finish the edges later with a hand sander. Next, I'm making the supports for the roller, using some leftover scraps of the checker sheet. After cutting them, I rounded one of their sides and finished the edges on the belt sander. And now if the camera wants to focus, there you go, you can see what a nice finish you can get with the sander. To make the holes for the roller bar, I'm using a 3 cm diameter Forstner bit. When making large holes like this, Forstner bits have many advantages over the more typical brad point or twist ones, but you need to be aware that they produce a lot more friction and heat, so it's a good idea to drill in multiple passes, cleaning some of the debris that the bit doesn't naturally push away. And there you have it, a perfectly round hole. And thanks to the magic of video editing, now there's 2 of them. Once the supports are attached, the shelf is done. But this one is going to the lab, so I'm going to make it a bit nicer, with a coat of wood stain, which I had a can of from a different project. And there's my kitty, Batman, making sure there's no villains around. Hmm. Hmm. Well, that's not good. Yeah, check this out. That's not okay. Let me fix it. The lid had not been properly closed the last time this was used, so the top layer had solidified. After using a screw to tear through, the stain is usable again. Here's a different view of the shelf. Once this first coat is dry, I'll probably do a second one to eliminate some of the brush marks. And this is the final result. If you made it this far, thank you for watching the video and leave your comments or suggestions below.